evening, everyone, and welcome to Your Time to Shine, a radio show designed to help you explore your own divine gifts. Good evening, and thank you so much for being here and joining me this evening. I'm so happy that you are here with me this evening, and we've got some great topics to talk about tonight. I'm so excited to share with you. But I have to share an experience with you first. Last week, I happened to be in Denver. I met a friend there who was taking a spiritual class. And so after she got finished with her class, I met her in Denver and we did some sightseeing and hiking and just relaxing. But we also had to take in the gem and crystal show. And I've never been to anything quite like this. It's supposed to be one of the biggest shows, maybe besides what is in Arizona. But it was massive and almost overwhelming. Crystals, amethyst crystals. I've never seen bigger amethyst crystals than I have seen at this show. One crystal within a 3-foot by 4-foot overall crystal was as big as my hand. It was massive. And yes, I did find one. It wanted to go home with me, but just couldn't figure out how to get it on the plane. So it had to stay. Anyway, it was fantastic. It gave me a chance to recharge and rejuvenate, which is something that we all need to do once in a while, just to get away and come back to center to who you are. And it was fantastic. So here we are, back for another week. And I had the opportunity to speak to someone the other day who was actually talking to me about allowance versus acceptance. Now, when you think about those words, you don't really think anything about it. You know, you accept something and that's, you know, that is what it is, good, bad, indifferent, right? And then being an allowance is, you know, being okay with whatever comes your way. So we kind of sat and talked about that a little bit, and we happened to be doing a healing session for me. So when he put it in perspective and really showed me what this was, it made such a huge difference for me. So let me explain. So if you are in acceptance to something, imagine yourself as a photograph, and you've got a big photograph of yourself on the wall, right? You're sitting down, maybe you have a flower in your hand, right? Whatever that is, that is your acceptance, and you accept that that picture is of you, right? But if someone were to take that picture and move it, and now maybe someone shows you a picture of you standing, and you go, oh, wait a minute, that's not me, because over here I was sitting down and now I'm standing. Kind of messes with your head a little bit, right? Because what you have accepted, right, visually, maybe even emotionally or spiritually, is a little bit different now. And because it's changed, the picture has changed. If you're in allowance, you're like, oh, look, there I was sitting, and now here I am standing, or maybe I'm dancing, right? It changes the energy around it, right? Even if you sit and think about this, even if you were to close your eyes right now. So if you close your eyes right now and think about the word acceptance, right? How does that feel within your body? For me, it just feels a little more restrictive. So now think about the word allowance, right? Does it feel lighter to you? Does it feel a little bit more free-flowing? Because it sure did to me, right? So, you know, being in allowance of everything that you do each and every day, this can really be a learned thing. Some people find allowance very, very easy, and then some people find it very hard, right? Based on a lot of things. It could be based on their belief systems. It could be based on, um, what their families have drilled into their heads over the years. Whatever that is, sometimes it's harder for us to be in allowance. We're just in acceptance. This is the way it's always been. So this is the way it's always going to continue, right? Whereas being in allowance is like, oh, look, something new, something is changing. Oh, I wonder what that is. It's not always that easy for everybody to be in that ease and that flow. And I find myself actually kind of somewhere in between those, right? Sometimes I'm just in acceptance, and it's really hard for me to change my thought patterns around the situation and then just be in allowance. But if you can do that, what that does is it opens up the floodgates and it allows the universe to come in and bring you more, because now you're open to receiving, you're open to flow. Whereas in acceptance, you're a little bit more closed off, you're a little bit more hesitant even, right? So it's a matter of sitting down and really going, oh, wait a minute, I'm not in allowance, I'm not in flow, and trying to shift that and change that for yourself. And I'm telling you, sometimes it's not that easy, right? There's things that are tied to that piece of acceptance that we have told ourselves that this is the way it is, right? So, really being open to what it is that it's coming next, being in that space and place of allowance makes things so much easier, so much simpler in life. So, next time you get thrown off by the picture that's being shown to you, stop and ask yourself, okay, am I in acceptance of this, or am I in allowance of this? Am I willing to let this change and happen for me rather than being in, oh, this is the way it is, and this is the way it always is. It's always the way it's going to be, right? So it's just being in that awareness of all of this too, which is the biggest first step, and then being in the allowance. So try that. See if that changes your perspective at all, to be in that flow, to be in that allowance, and see how that can change your life and your emotional body and your spiritual body. All right. I hope that was helpful for you this evening. Right now, we are going to go to the phone lines, and we have Shirley in Blythe, California. Good evening, Shirley, and welcome to
Hello,
Your Time
how
to
are you?
Shine. Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Good, good. What can we do for you this evening?
I just wondered, is there, do you have any general message from Spirit or from anybody or whatever? Is there something that I need to know that I'm just like, do I have a purpose?
Oh, that's such a great question. Everybody asks, right? Everybody wants to know what their purpose is here. So, yes, I can give you some messages from Spirit from the other side. So let me tune in to see what they have to say, and then I will be right back with you. Okay? There'll just be a little moment of silence as I'm tuning in here. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Shirley. So the first thing that they were bringing to me is I saw this vastness, this ocean, um, and they were showing me it was like this ocean of possibilities, right? There's so much that's laid out there in front of you, that sometimes it's hard for you to decipher almost, where to put your sails, right? In what direction you need to go. And I feel like there's been some really big changes, if they're not already here for you, that they're coming down the pike. Like there's going to be some really big opportunities for you to kind of look into, to shift and change your life. And they're saying you have so much potential, and you don't always give yourself that credit for the kind of potential that you have out there, and what you can do. You're very much a helper of the people, a steward of the people. You're very giving. And that piece of it, it's like people are needing you, people are needing your services. Um, Hang on just a moment. I'm looking to see what they're showing me. They show me you working with your hands. It's almost like you have a ball in the middle of your hands, and you're twisting it and you're turning it and you're turning it upside down. Um, are you doing any type of energy work right now? Um, like
I don't
Reiki?
know that I am, but people tell me that I do. I do in home care. I do in home health care, and I've been with several people when they've, at the end of their life, when they're leaving here and going on to their next. And people have been telling me that that's like a good thing, and I don't feel that it's anything special, but I've been told
Yeah.
different. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are a healer, okay? You are a healer by being just by being you. You have a lot of healing capacities in your hands. Do you do you talk with your hands a lot? Do you
All the
like
time.
move your uh-huh. So let me explain this to you. So what you're doing is you're moving energy around. When you are expressing with your hands, you're moving the energy. You're taking like the charge out of the room, or the energy, and you're kind of calming the room down, right? People feel that presence within you, and they gravitate towards you. And yes, by you being there for them, kind of in their final days, their final hours, they're really taking comfort in you being who you are without you even really trying to be anything. You are helping them transition. You're giving them a comforting space. I don't know if you've ever heard of a death doula. Um, you can look up that terminology, but basically, it's somebody who helps somebody else transition from one life into the next life, or transitioning, from the human experience into the spiritual world. It's just by you being in their presence, right? By you calming that energy, emitting that peace, so that they feel comfortable
Basically just
and
giving them
safe.
permission. People I think need a lot of times I find that my own father, people need that permission. It's okay to go.
It
You don't have to stay
absolutely,
here. I'm going to be fine, or whoever. It's okay for you to go.
absolutely.
And I think once they get that confirmation that it's okay, I can take this road if I want, and it's their choice. And if they want to go on, they can go on. You know, and
Right,
but I don't believe that. I don't know. I don't think anybody should die alone unless that's what they so wish. I think
right,
that that you want somebody with you. Because that's the last final phase of this earthly life, I guess. And
right.
it's a big step.
It is. And
The
you have to
unknown or
understand,
whatever.
yeah, and you understand, by you just expressing what you're expressing, just to me, you have this very calm demeanor. It's not like it's a matter of fact, but it's a very calming, soothing, look, this is what it is. right? And it's okay, right? There's so much love and there's so much caring within the pieces, within the voice that you're speaking, the words that are coming across, and that's what people are needing at that moment.
Okay. So that might be my purpose. No.
Absolutely, that is your
Regardless if I crash
purpose.
and burn after they're gone. I'm pretty strong while it's going on.
Right.
I hold my own until then I'm just like spent. I'm like, oh my God. You
Yeah.
know, come home and
Right.
that's when I lose it, or
Right.
get emotional but I get drained a
Yes.
lot.
Yeah. So you are an empath because you are a healer and a light worker. You can get sucked of the energy very, very quickly, right? So there is a couple of things you can do. You can always ask yourself when you're starting to feel this overwhelming energy or you're exhausted or whatever, ask if this energy that you're feeling is yours. Okay. Because a lot of times as energy workers, we take on these energies of others that really aren't ours. And so you can simply say, you know, I don't believe this is mine. Please return to sender with love, right? What it does is it lifts that energy from you, gives you back your energy, and sends it back to where it came from. Okay.
In other
Um,
words, I don't have to absorb everyone else's crap.
You do not. Absolutely. Ask your angels and your guides, say, please release all of this from me because it is not mine, right? So as healers and energy workers, we transmute all this energy. That is part of our mission here on earth, is to kind of help all those people get through what they're needing to get through. But as a result, we can get very depleted if we allow that to happen, right? So ask your angels and guides to help you expand your energy out beyond your body to help get you at a higher vibration, so that you don't absorb all that energy. Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't know much about that, but I was always taught that anything to do with astrology, mediums, anything was always evil, in the church I was brought up in. And
Right.
since then, I've come to change my mind. I don't believe that, but there's always a little nagging voice, at the back of your mind, like,
Sure.
if your grandma told you this, or, but
Right.
then I know that my grandmother was risen out of a dead sleep one night when I was in trouble, miles and miles away, thousands of miles, hundreds of miles away from her. And
Right.
she ended up dropping to her knees and praying for me. She was fighting for my soul, and she told me that when she saw me again. She goes, I don't know what had a hold of you, but all I know is I was fighting for your soul. And so that's a premonition, and that's also, something that she's seen. So and there's nothing evil at all about my grandmother. So I look at that now. I'm thinking, well, you know what? Nana had that kind of connection with me, and there's nothing evil about my Nana. So therefore, if she could foresee, my feel my energy, then there's a link there. Then I can't be all wrong.
That's
I'm not
correct.
praying to the devil. I'm not, you know.
Right.
But it goes against everything I had been brought up to believe. And now I'm 57 years old and I'm finding my own way.
Yes.
And few people don't agree with it, but it's just trial and error for me. I'm just doing me
Right.
now, and I do
Right.
what feels right. If it doesn't feel right, I try not to do it.
Absolutely. Trust your gut. Your gut is never going to lie to you. You have really, really good intuition, and your grandmother is on the other side helping you through all of this process, right? She knew that you were a healer, that you had a greater purpose here on this earth, and she was absolutely right.
Mm. Wish you would have told me.
It could be because she had blocked beliefs of her own, right? Um,
Right.
It could be that, that she had the same kind of internal fights that you have. It's the work, it's the work of the devil. It's not good. It's bad. There's a lot of beliefs out there that are that way. And so she could have been in that human life. She could have been feeling those same things, but yet she was experiencing things that she couldn't herself understand.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Beautiful. You are
So I am
so
on the right
welcome.
path, maybe then.
What's that?
Am I on the right path? I mean, I'm learning about my angels. I'm learning to put me first. I'm trying to learn how to love myself, which I don't really like myself much. So I'm trying to learn how to, I had a friend tell me that I needed to put myself first and learn how to love me. And I said, well, I don't even like myself. And she goes, well, then that's where you got to start. You got to like you.
Exactly.
So I've been
Exactly.
setting little goals for myself every day. Say three positive things about myself. Something that sometimes it might just be so and so thinks I'm great. Because I don't
Right.
really see.
Absolutely. You are so on the right path. You have so much love and support on the other side. And your friend is right. Okay, it all starts within us to be able to love ourselves. And again, as healers and light workers, it's so much easier for us to help others and to give others and to, to help them through, and then to not take care of ourselves. When you are, when you're working with people and you're in a healer situation, it is so, so important to do self-care, more so than probably any other job out there, when when you're working in that capacity, because it's energetic, it's energy. And if you can't refill your tank, if you can't do for you, your tank is going to be empty. And if your tank is empty, then you can't help anybody else, because you can't even help yourself. So self-care is so, so important. And, loving yourself, being okay with yourself is another huge step. So absolutely, you are on the right track.
Awesome. Thank you.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. All right. Thank you, Shirley. Next, we have Stephanie in North Carolina.
Hi,
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. What can we do for you this evening?
Um, I don't know. I was just looking to get a reading, maybe just in general about what's going on with me or not going on with me. Just a general reading,
Sure.
I guess.
Okay, perfect. Let me just take a couple seconds here to tune in to see what your loved ones have to say, and I'll be right back. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Stephanie. So, what I saw immediately is that you are such a bubbly person. You have this infectious kind of personality, and you're always the one that's up and bubbly and positive, which is, a fantastic, fantastic set of personality traits and everything like that. What it can do, though, is it can kind of bounce you around a little bit. And what I'm being shown is that you're kind of bouncing all around. You're not really grounded, and you're feeling like you're living in the clouds a little bit, and you're not sure how to come back down from that and get centered and get a little bit calm. Um, so, in order to kind of help, balance you out so that you can think, um, because I get the feeling that, you've been a little bit all over the place. You've been bouncing around with your thought processes. And so being grounded is something that is really going to help you kind of take action steps in your life for the things that you need to do. And so a good way to get grounded is get into nature, hug a tree. If you can take your shoes off and walk through the grass, just being out in nature, in trees and things like that, is going to give you that groundedness that you need for you to be able to come back to center and say, okay, what is it that I need to do next? What are my next steps? Um, it feels like you're in a really big transition period, um, where things are coming to you and you are evaluating what you're going to be doing next. So being in that grounded state is going to be able to help you focus and go, okay, what is it that I'm needing to know in order for me to take that next step?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you?
I think so. I definitely have a lot of stuff going on right now, so it's kind of hard for me to stay focused on one thing or another because there's just kind of so much. I keep getting distracted from one, then bouncing back to the other, and that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting grounded. If you are into crystals or anything like that, having jasper is a really good grounding crystal to have. There's grounding sprays out there too that will help with that. But it looks like that your path is going into this really big transition and fork kind of in the road as to what you need to go and do next. So they're showing me there's some really exciting things coming up.
What kinds of things?
I feel like there's a shift in your career path or in your job. And so, moving in that direction. So kind of be in awareness of where the people that you're talking to, what they're talking about or saying, because that's going to lead you to this next path that you're going to be going on. Okay. Because they're showing me they're bringing you people into your life that's going to help you with that next transition. Okay.
It's interesting because I'm self-employed right now, and I just recently lost my one coworker I had because I clean houses, so it's not really a super big job, but it is getting harder to do by myself, like physically. Yeah. So I haven't really said I'm going to stop, but I haven't really thought about adding anybody else on and kind of what to do next because I can't do it forever alone.
Right.
So I have been kind of thinking, but I'm not really sure what I want to do because let me say with some other things I have going on.
Right. Yeah, keep looking for the people that are coming into your life because they're going to be key into helping you figure out that next transition in your life.